WFNU, Frogtown Community Radio. What's happening? It's your main man, Adam West, Pulse of the City, voice of the performing arts in Twin Cities and countrywide. And my guest, my ghost. There's a ghost in here. Run!
Sometimes I'm a Wanaji.
Ladies and gentlemen, C.W. Bearshield. How you doing today, sir? Welcome to the Pulse of the City.
I'm doing good, Adam West. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Outstanding. It's an early morning as always here, but I had my coffee and I'm ready to go.
Nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful Saturday. It was a nice drive over here.
I want to thank you for making the trip. 2 hours.
To come 2 hours. Depending on how much lead you got in your feet, you know. I really wanted to get down here, meet you, and get on board with your listeners. So. Yeah.
Right on. Well, definitely welcome to the Pulse of the City, and you're no stranger to the cities. Just as from what I've gathered, the voice talent, the actor, the playwright, owner operator of booking agency. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I kind of do an array of things. I'm the owner of Crazy Horse Booking Agency, where we represent the finest in music, film, artistry, and entertainment. And I'm also an agent for 615 Entertainment Agency, the premier booking agency for named entertainment. And then I'm represented by More Creative Talent, by agent Carol McCormick, obviously for acting, voice talent.
I know Carol very well.
Things of that nature. Yeah, she's great. More Talent's great. Shout out to More Talent, Carol, everybody over there.
Hey.
Yeah, and just kind of, I'm all over the place, man. It's kind of, you always get this stuff ready in your head when you come on board, and then you think like, all right, I'm going to go down in this order, and you get through like 3 or 4 things, and you kind of forget about the rest. But I like to do a lot of acting, television and film acting. Obviously, I've done some theater, and then got on board last year and actually became a playwright when I produced One Feather, which was like a short autobiography on my life. And then over the course of this last year, I've taken that 10-minute and I've rewritten and revamped it into a 90-minute production, and then kind of networking with some people down in the area. Shout out to Brady Lilly from Step Rockets and his connection. He's trying to hook me up with Theater La Di Da, which would be great.
Very
and I know they just took over, was it the Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Or something like that?
The Fitzgerald in St. Paul there.
Yeah. So hopefully sometime in like, early to late 2018, I like to be performing that for everybody.
Absolutely.
On stage and just do the full version of it versus the 10 minutes.
Outstanding. So to go from the 10-minute to the full version, kind of break that down. So you got the idea for it. Where'd you get the idea for it? And then how has it grown?
Well, the idea just transpired off of my own personal experiences growing up in a small town in central Minnesota, predominantly white town, obviously, and then just the trials and tribulations of living there, kind of what happened after I left that area, and then, all of us got a nice, beautiful past, some of it more colorful than others, and sometimes people don't like to talk about it, but And I don't want to talk about mine for a lot of years, just because number one, statute of limitations, but two, you always think like, hey, is another human being going to be ready to hear all this, or watch and listen to it? But then, you get older, you get away from those ways of life, those kinds of ways of being, and then you really realize, like, look, you went through some stuff. Probably a lot of people didn't, but then there's a lot of people, they're going through that right now. Like a lot of that stuff that I talked about in One Feather, obviously a lot from my youth, but then other stuff after that evolved into like my 20s. And so that's what I thought was like, man, there's a lot of people going out doing the same stuff I was doing, or living through the same stuff I was doing.
Right.
So maybe I should step up and, just offer an awakening, if you will, if that's what happens. And that's kind of what I found when I performed the 10-minute piece at Bedlam Lowertown through New Native Theater back last May of 2016, I believe it was. Or no, I think it was last year. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of time, man. You always
it just moving on the grind. But flies. That's really interesting because when you doing bio pics or autobiographies and things like that, it's like what to leave in and what to take out, because there's so many stories to our life, right. And so it's like, okay, which ones are really going to carry the message that I'm trying to connect with those people that can relate in the audience, somebody that are going through this right now.
Correct.
kind of walk me through that, condensing that. How did you go through the selection process of which stories to keep, which ones to exclude, which ones you thought were going to move them, and what were you trying to move the audience with? What did you want them to take away and connect with you on?
Right. Well, I think, like, obviously I'm Sichangu Lakota from Rosebud, Pine Ridge area out in South Dakota. So I've just kind of felt, and you don't typically see a lot of us being able to tell our stories, let alone on stage and to like a paying audience, people that just come in off the street, or they heard, word of mouth, or they just have like a fascination or a respect for our culture and they want to kind of get to know it a little bit better. So that's kind of where like the first of it came from, and then the second was just like, I got a story to tell. I need to tell it. Relieve some stress off of my back, off of my shoulders.
Oh, I'm very familiar.
And just and then you also too really think about like I'm really next generation oriented in all facets of my life. It just seemed like when I was younger, though, I didn't know the proper outlets or where to connect to that.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things that I found out when I got into theater. I'm not the orthodox thespian. Like, I don't know about Shakespeare. I don't really read Shakespeare. To be or not to be, that's about as deep as I go. And I was surrounded by great people, great teachers, mentors, people that just blew my mind, but it always had you feeling like, man, should I be here? They got a street theater somewhere or something that I can get on the stage. And,
is there one with less of an admission fee to stuff you got to know before you get there, or does it matter? No, I totally relate to that. I am also very unorthodox or unorthodox in the sense of I don't know a ton of plays and theater, and I didn't go to the big school that had the big theater department. And I didn't get into theater until I got into college, And so everything that I've used and created as my talent when doing a play or a film has been drawn from my own experiences. And I think where the talent part comes in at is how you're able to harness it and how you're able to access it whenever you want. That's been the challenge, to keep sharpening that tool for me. So I can relate to you on that, definitely.
Yeah, and I think like the game changer for me was, I got to do, the first thing I ever did was history theater. We did George Bonga, the story of George Bonga, the Black Voyageur. I got to work with J.W., James A. William, Marion McClinton, shout out to Marion. J.W., Marissa Carr, Jake Wade, and Eric Knudsen. Just phenomenal people. Ron Peluso over there is great.
History theater.
Anya as well.
Anya Kremeninski, yes.
But
worked with all those people.
But that was that first time, man, coming on stage, and you just like, it's electric, and I didn't have like that big of a part, but it was like, I had speaking roles, and I was the brother to Jake Wade, who was Che Galvescung. So I was Che Galvescung's brother. But man, that feeling of just being live in front of an audience, I'm usually on the other side, either on business or I'm interviewing people that are on the stage. For me, that was the first time outside of being behind a camera, like on a film or a television show.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, you got like 400 people here, you need to wow them. Like 5 minutes on the stage, 7 minutes on the stage, you need to wow them. And it was just the greatest experience of my life, man. And then after that, I was asked to try and submit a 10-minute play to the first National Native American 10-minute festival that Riani Ozzie from New Native Theater was putting on.
Sure.
Did that, and then it really transcended to the point where, okay, you performed your own work now, stuff you lived, ate, and breathed, negative or positive, what have it. In that short little 10 minutes afterwards, you had people coming up to you, tears in their eyes. Some of them were crying. A lot of them just had stories of being able to relate to like what they heard and they listened to. I'd never felt that before in my life. That was powerful, very influential. Like as an artist, to go, okay, we have to keep taking this to the next level, because it was almost like therapy for people, you realize like they came there to see you, but before I had the interactions with them after my performance, you just thought like, hey, people like to go to theater, they like to see a show, be entertained, stuff like that.
Right.
You realize this goes way beyond entertainment, especially on a theater, on the stage, perspective.
Right. Where it's so organic and it's living and breathing right there.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, most definitely. That's why we do it. And that's what the Pulse of the City is made of right there. That's the nuts and bolts. That's the guts of it. Absolutely. My first experience walking up to that VOM through when the lights first came on. I remember hyperventilating out of a paper bag. My very first play in college, opening night. I was so nervous. But the emotions that you tap into, the things that you experience and you feel, and when you're able to be the window of a playwright's mind and make it crystal clear for the audience member, and they want to share just how clear it was to you.
Right, yeah.
Man, that's a great feeling.
It catches you off guard.
It does. It does.
Completely.
Right, because, I mean, how do you respond to that? Like, you know, you kind of feel like, I don't know, you just have this gratitude, giddy smile stuck on your face. You don't really know what to say, but thank you, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm glad I could do that.
And then that interaction just wipes that giddy smile right off your face, like in a good way, you know, because you're out like pressing palms, shaking hands, big smile on your face, and then they hit you with that.
Whoa!
And that just shuts you down.
Right. Yeah. Humility
in a good way. In a good way.
Definitely. In a good way. We got more with the CW Bearshield here on 94.1 Frogtown Community Radio. Nice shot. We off and running.
Yeah. Weekend, stellar weekend. Got big plans for yourselves and your family, loved ones.
Right on. So yeah, we were just talking about some of the things that you had created in the past, and your autobiography production, and expanding it from a 10-minute to a 90-minute production. What else is going on in your world right now? What else is in the hopper? What do you got cooking?
Right now, hot, like off the presses, hot off the grill, so to speak. Actually, last night it was really good. I got to network with Nicole Remini. She's doing the Nicole Remini show with Bob Sansevier. So we're going to do some procuring some advertising and some sponsorships for that show.
From KQRS, Bob Sansevier?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They have the BS blog and show on the podcast channel, and then Bob has his show, and then now Nicole, she just started her show and got the first one released, I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. Obviously, she had her sister Leah Remini on there,
Okay.
and they're talking about going through the turmoil that they experienced going through Scientology and all that, coming out the end of that. Kevin Can Waits, obviously her sister is doing huge things on that, so it's kind of cool, like to see Doug and Carrie get reunited again, or King of Queens, if you ever used to watch that show.
Yeah,
see that?
Yep. I've seen that show.
I've seen a few episodes of the Kevin Can Way where she's been on there, and it's just been great. So yeah, very fortunate and lucky to be doing that with them. Looking forward to taking that to the limit, see where that's at. And then recently been networking with a guy by the name of Joel Adam Goebel, and we'll be doing a supporting role in a feature film called Sultan of Scrape. And that is going to be filmed up in Grand Marais next summer of 2018. And it's a story in 4th of July in 1999. There was like insane historical storms that happened up there. So it's, I don't want to give too much away, but you can go on Twitter and type up Sultan of Scrape, and then they'll give you a little bit more synopsis. I just don't want to burn any bridges with saying too much or too little.
It's all good.
So we'll be
Sultan of Scrape. I like that title.
Doing that, working on that, and then hopefully through my agency, we can provide them with some casting from some LA talent that they're looking for.
Talk about the agency. How did you get into that?
Oh yeah, well the agency. I mean, I always had a love for it. But my mentor is Helen Sissy Treat. She's the owner of and CEO of 615 Entertainment Agency, the premier booking agency for named entertainment. So they'll represent like anybody from Willie Nelson. I know she's doing some stuff with Guns N' Roses up in Newfoundland right now. We're working on Bertie Higgins, Charlie Pride, Lori Morgan, things like that.
Wow.
So it's usually like your gold, platinum, more so like platinum artists and stuff that you're dealing with on there. And so I just had a huge yearning for that business back like in I think around 2011, 2010, and so we started linking up, connecting, and I started learning from her. And then in 2014 I met Scatter Their Own, which is Scotty Clifford and Juliana Brown Eyes Clifford, and started doing some different advocacy, activism type awareness events down at, like one was at the Minnesota State Capitol, did some up where I'm from in West Central Minnesota, and a few other places at St. Augusta college and stuff there, and I would always be working with them or have them come in and perform and then do a little bit of speaking. And then after one of the gigs, they were just like, hey, we're looking for representation. Do you know of anybody? And I'd been working with Sissy for 4 years prior to that, so it just kind of was like, I might be able to help. And then it went out from there. I started repping them and thought, man, I better turn this into something more than just pretend. And, thought of the name, and obviously Bearshield's, where we come from out in South Dakota, we are, in essence, from the Crazy Horse clan. And that's all of our connections out there. So I thought in order to honor the past and with the present and everything I'm trying to do and move the right way, I would call it Crazy Horse Booking Agency. And you won't think you would get like a lot of flack from your culture from doing something like that, but I don't know, what do you call them, the stand around the fort Indians would come out of the weeds and be
stand
like,
around the fort.
you're disrespecting him, you're disrespecting us. And it was like, man, this is my family. Like, if you know about our culture, then you would know who the Bearshields are. Right. And you would know what their connection is, our connection is with, Crazy Horse.
And it's for a good business. It's not like you're running numbers out of the basement and calling it Crazy Horse Numbers Running Company.
Yeah, no, man, that was like,
That's
21 in the dorms.
Off the record.
Yeah. But no, so then that's where it really took off from there. And then, of course, once you file, you make, you have, it's procured now through the state. They can tax you for stuff. And you start taking things a lot more seriously, too. You take yourself a lot more seriously. And then it just went from there, and we started networking with other artists and just gaining the experience of what it was like to move music talent around at the time.
Sweet. That's awesome. That's got to be crazy being on the other end of it. From being an actor and then now being the talent to switching it around and now being the administrator or being the advocate or the agent. What's that like looking at other talent and looking at it from a business perspective?
It's great. It's phenomenal. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, that's all I've ever wanted to do is surround myself with music, television, and movies. Just be in the entertainment industry somehow. Obviously, I had a huge, hey, I want to be on the stage singing. I want to be in this film. I want to act in this TV show, do stuff like that. Right. But I don't know. I think it was just kind of how I grew up and how I lived. I didn't bestow that confidence upon myself because I was always like, I don't know, how do I do this? Where do I even begin? Who do I tap into, to make this happen? Where I found out that it was easier for me to get involved on the business end of things. And so it was great to see everybody doing their thing and blowing up. But at the same time, you're like, I want to flip the script and jump over on that side. If I suck, I'll just come back over. I can just keep doing business. Nobody will remember after like a year how crappy my performances were, no big deal. What do I got to lose? So I did it, and then after I did that, which was about, let me think. I want to say that was like 2015. I mean, I'm only like on the acting side of things. I'm only like about 2 years into it. Yeah. And that's where it's kind of like I just felt like once I did it and it was good, and you got that positive feedback from directors, from, the people that were handling you to put the show together, then I felt really good. Like, all right, but now you got to hurry up, man. You got to make up for all this time. And
right, yeah.
Pump this and push this, take it to the limit.
Right.
And, you do that, but then, man, you'd be surprised all the stuff you can get done in 2 years, and then you got like, man, I got to take a year off. And you wouldn't think that, but, then other things come in your personal lives and happen and, get in the way. But I think that's a good time. And I know every actor goes through that, even every writer goes through that. And if it happens to you, if you're out there listening right now and you're acting, you're writing, and just whatever, you're stuck or you just pumped it so hard over the last year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years, and you need some time off, but you feel like everything's passing you by while you're taking that time off. I mean, it's not. If you're just sitting around doing nothing, I suppose, it's really going to feel like that. But, like, for me, I was just like, I'm going to take this time, and I'm just going to write. Yeah. I'm going to write every chance I get, create new material, create new things, and just keep moving forward, because I know that, eventually that time will pass, I'll be back on the stage, and then I'll be wishing for that time off again.
Yep. Definitely. It sounds like you got a good balance your creative life. That's cool.
Yeah, I think so, man. I mean, nobody wants to go through turmoil in their life, but I think it's like what you can do with that. On the flip side of things, that it just seems like hard things will keep happening to you, but it gets easier and easier to deal with those hard things as they happen. The more that you went through in your past, if you didn't allow it to consume you, eat you up, and destroy your dreams,
which can happen and has happened to so many people. Shout out to those folks. Keep your head up. Get back into the fight. Keep on pushing and all that good stuff. Now, listening to your style and your body of work and the types of work that you like to do, and how the performances that you've done have affected audiences. You were telling about how the lady had tears in her eyes and was referring to the production and your performance. When you create something, is it your goal to, or no, excuse me, let me rephrase that. Do you think that content from theater can affect social change on a major scale?
Oh, most definitely. I saw that firsthand with those reactions afterwards. Just a lot of people, they just didn't know.
Yeah.
Until after that. And that was just one perspective, one story. I mean, I know at that festival we had like 14 stories beyond mine that were going on there. And I think that was the whole effect of that was kind of unparalleled. You never had that many indigenous people in one room telling all these different stories, past and present, of what's going on real time in our culture, what was going on in the past. I think it was definitely beneficial to the audience and to provoke social change, to influence it. If maybe somebody wasn't interested, they sure as hell was going to look into it after that.
Right. Now, what is it? Is it the dialogue that people are having afterward that can make that effect happen, or do you think it has to go further than that?
I think it has to be continual. You know what it's like, man. If we go and see a concert, we like having the time of our lives, but 2 days later, we really remember that time of our life,
Exactly.
And I would say, there's, of course, what we were seeing and what I'm correlating that to is they're sending out the same message that we are, maybe it's one.
Yeah, remember last year we saw that play and it had that stuff in it. That was great.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, like that. So I think you gotta
cheese.
Keep going on beyond follow it up. I mean, you have to keep following it up with the same show or the same message, but just keep creating different messages. Take all the experience you have, bad or good, in this life, try to formulate it, put it together as an artist, and then give it to the people and let them do whatever they want with it. However it helps them in their life. Maybe it doesn't, but they might know somebody else that does. They invite them, and then bada bing, bada boom, there you go.
Hey, forget about it. All right, we got a little bit of time left here. We got a little bit left here with Mr. C.W. Bearshield here on Pulse of the City. We're going to get back into the tunes. I am feeling a little bit of Three Dog Night, never been to Spain. 94.1 WFNU, Frogtown Community Radio.
That's a good song.
All right.
ELD. You can hop on Twitter then type up Crazy Horse Booking Agency. Follow us on there. I'm on LinkedIn, obviously underneath my name, CW Bearshield. And yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I was off the grid till about 2011. I didn't have like any social media, like nothing out there like public and stuff. And then started working at a radio station in 2011. They're like, you better create like some social media for us because you're gonna need it. And I fought it for like 2 months, and I was like, well, be unemployed or employed. So I created it.
I mean, life decisions.
But in hindsight, you look back at it like 2 or 3 years after I started with it, until now, I mean, it's been great. It's come in so handy for activism and advocacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, like, to get messages across.
Yep.
And, you know, call people out when they need to be called out.
Yep. Social media is a powerful thing.
You'd be surprised what you can shut down, man. I always thought it was like with your fists. You know, like, shut it down. And,
shut it down.
You know, there's a whole other way. The pen is mightier than the sword.
Indeed it is. Yes. And it doesn't matter how many keystrokes per minute you can do. You can still get the same message out there with the same power.
Yep.
Whether it takes you a day to write it or a couple of minutes.
Either way, it lasts a lifetime.
Yes, yes. I see you brought a guest with you here. I know that you do. You're also a voice talent, and so I saw that during the break. Peter Griffin.
Oh yeah. Oh wait a minute. Wait, am I on air right now?
Yes, sir. Meg is out in the car. The car's running right now. I just said you wanted to come upstairs and grab a sandwich and leave, but.
Oh, well, this is wicked. I don't ever think I've been on radio before. I was actually just next door. There's like you guys got like a bar, a club next door over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent
Stewie got lost in there actually last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been home in like a week, so, and my nose is bleeding.
Well, Meg's waiting for you. She'll take you to the hospital. Thanks for stopping in, man.
Okay. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, Peter. Be easy, man. Clean up that nose. All right, Pulse of the City. Every Saturday, this is how we do it. 8 a.m., 94.1. For the podcast, and to learn a little bit more about the show, go to www.unofficialadamwest.com. You can catch all my platforms on there, Facebook, YouTube, etc., etc. Till next time, Twin Cities, your main man, Adam West. Thanking my guest, C.W. Bearshield. Peace.
Yeah, you're welcome. And everybody stand up and speak out.
Cool. It's a wrap.